Sony apparently have got some pocket money that they're willing to spend because Microsoft's been buying everyone up left, right, and centre. And Sony want to go, hang on a second, if the trend is that you're buying up people, we need to buy up people too. I don't know how reliable this is. I heard that it was going to be Konami IP and another studio, but Sony's going to buy something in the next couple of months, and one of the ones that are being targeted is Square Enix. Now, I know that Square Enix had a little bit of a fire sale recently, and they lost a load of stuff like Tomb Raider and Deus Ex to, I can't remember what the name of the company was called, but they sold them off at ridiculously low rates to the point that it's like if I had that money, I think I probably would have bought it too. But I find this stuff weird because this third party exclusivity thing, which does exist, and you do see it here and there with things like Deathloop was one that had to then be scuttled because Microsoft bought Bethesda. But with Square Enix, it's a bit different because it's like I'm sure there's a load of Square Enix stuff that people want to play and people want to get their hands on that Square Enix have looked at and gone no, and Sony might look at that and go, well, there's a market for that if we can get the right funding and the right marketing and whatnot. It's Square Enix does feel like it's going down the toilet as a company. It feels like it is on the verge, and that might be a good thing for Microsoft, for Sony to buy. But when it comes to these sort of things and then buying up companies, Sony have always had a habit of buying the up and comers. Yeah, if you hear about their acquisitions, they are up and coming studios. Yeah, this studio is producing this fabulous thing, and therefore Sony then turns around and buy it. So there is the Returnal developer, I think it's called House Marquee or Housemarque.
Yeah.
They snapped them up. Yeah. So instead of paying an absolute fortune for a well-established one with a ton of IPs in the background, they bought a new one, and then they could get an exclusive off the back of that. And then that wasn't a problem because no one was expecting this brand new game to be turning up on a console of sorts. So there's that aspect to it. So there's a chance. See, the rumor I heard was Sony were going to buy Konami's IPs, and they were going to buy studios. So we'd have got Metal Gear on the PlayStation as an exclusive, but it would have been built by a Sony-owned studio, not Konami, if that makes any sense. So Konami gets. I think the idea was that Konami got to keep it for like their pachinko machines that they started doing because they've kind of given up on actual games, and they moved over to gambling for all intents and purposes and silly little mobile games, which I can't stand. And knowing that, there's a chance that that they were going to do that, so you could get a Silent Hill. And I think there was, I don't know if there is exclusivity on the latest Silent Hill, the one that's being developed by the Polish ones. Oh, I watched it a while back. I'll have to try and check that one actually. Where you guys? So I'm going to ask Brett what he thinks. Sorry, Bapstar, what he thinks.
I don't really care, if I'm honest. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. I've come quite late to the new consoles, so they're not really the type of games I've played anyway, especially Final Fantasy. Gears of War, again, I pretty much own all the Gears of War games. I haven't really played them.
Yeah.
Because mainly I'm a PC gamer when I'm not playing around with retro stuff. I'm always late to the party when it comes to the new consoles. So Bethesda. You see, I was a big fan of ID Software, and they've sort of took over that now, haven't they? With the likes of Doom. It's Quake I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a brand new Quake game. Now, if they can do that, I'm interested. Microsoft they're a big game, aren't they? You know, they're a big name, but they're mainly known for flight sims. Let's face it, when it comes to gaming.
See, there was right. So when it comes to Microsoft, when it comes to exclusives and bits, I never put any money in on their exclusives. It was literally on the first Xbox, it was Halo, and then everything else felt derivative of something else. Even Splinter Cell felt derivative of Metal Gear. Yeah, Sony's got Metal Gear. We need a Metal Gear game, and that's literally what happened. Like Project Gotham Racing to go against Gran Turismo and stuff like that. And I didn't think Halo as a game franchise was any good. The one I did like, which wasn't exclusive, is Gears of War. It's the one that I played, and I actually was like, "This is really good." I played it through on single player, and then I played it through on co-op with a mate, and I had a whale of a time, especially on co-op. Yeah, and that was great. But I always think that Gears of War is their primary franchise. Even Gears of War 4 and 5, where that people are going, "Oh well, it's not quite what it was in 1, 2, and 3," and I'm like, it's still good. There's a bit where me and my friend were running across a lightning field. Yeah, first time I managed to make it, nothing. Yeah, mate gets blown up into little tiny pieces just before the finish line. We go again, and then we're just pissing ourselves laughing every time we're getting vaporized by lightning bolts. So going back to Square Enix, there's not much left of them. I wouldn't, if I was Sony, I would probably buy the IPs rather than the studio, if that makes any sense. Buy Final Fantasy, make Final Fantasy with your guys. And the great thing is if Square Enix is falling apart, you could probably snap up all the previous developers and the artists and stuff. It sounds awful because it's going cheap. It's selling everything in a building. It's going out of business, sort of thing.
Well, yeah. What I don't want is all these companies turning into EA. That's what I don't want. So they release a game, it's unfinished, and then you get the dreaded microtransactions.
Yeah, that's let's say that's the thing. Microsoft did that to Forza. And I'll be honest with you, Xbox 360 was the source of microtransactions with horse armor. Do you remember that? Between Bethesda and Microsoft, they gave us microtransactions. I'll be honest with you, I'm more. If someone says pay £70 but no microtransactions, I tend to lean more that way. I'm a bit more apprehensive, and I'm a bit more patient to make sure when the game comes out, one, it works, and two, it's of value.
Yeah.
All right.